Let me ask you something. When somebody joins a company, who decides which application they can access? When they change department, who removes the access they no longer need? And when they leave on Friday, what happens if the account is still active on Monday? Now, this may sound like basic IT questions, but one wrong permission or forgotten account can become a serious security incident. That entire problem sits inside identity and access management, or IAM. And if you think IAM is only about resetting passwords, stay with me, because it is much bigger than that. In this video, I'll explain the actual work, job roles, required skills, and how a beginner can build practical IAM experience. Hello everyone, and welcome back to your Cyberstop. This is Pathway 7 in my Cybersecurity Career Pathway series. Now, people often imagine a SOC analyst watching alerts or an ethical hacker testing systems. But many real attacks begin when somebody logs in with a genuine account or has access they should never have received. That is why identity has become such an important part of modern cybersecurity. Now, what is IAM? In simple language, IAM is trying to answer three questions. Who are you? What are you allowed to access? And can the organization prove what you did with that access? Now, think about entering an office building. Your identity card proves who you are. That is authentication. The card may let you enter the main office but not the server room. That is authorization. And the system records when and where you use that card. That gives accountability. The same idea applies digitally. Your password, passkey, or multi-factor authentication helps verify you. Your role and permission decides what you can access, and logs create a record of what happened. But IAM is not one product. It is people, process, policies, and much more. Now let's take a realistic IAM example. Imagine Priya joins a bank as a finance analyst. She needs email, Teams, the finance reporting platform, and a shared folder used by her team. She does not need payroll access, production database, or administrative access. Using information from HR, the IAM process should create Priya's identity, provide role-based access, apply multi-factor authentication, and record the approval. Now, 6 months later, Priya moves into procurement role. Giving her new access is only half the job. If the old finance access remains, she collects permissions every time she moves. This is called privilege creep. She would eventually have permission to create a supplier and approve a payment. That creates a segregation of duties conflict. When Priya leaves, all her access must be disabled quickly. This cycle is called the joiner, mover, and leaver process. Now imagine doing that correctly for 50,000 employees or contractors and service accounts. This is where IAM becomes a serious cybersecurity specialization. So what does an IAM professional do? Now, in an entry-level analyst role, you may process requests, check approvals, manage accounts and groups, investigate access problems, and support reviews, where managers confirm whether permissions are still required. In engineering, you may connect application to single sign-on, configure MFA, automate provisioning, or integrate systems through APIs. In identity governance and administration, or IGA, it focuses on lifecycle, access reviews, and audit evidence. Privileged access management, or PAM, which protects powerful admin accounts. So IAM includes operations, engineering, governance, risk, and architecture. It is not limited to user administration. Now, what are common IAM job titles? Do not search only for the word IAM. Companies use different titles for similar work. At entry level, look for IAM support analyst, identity operation analyst, access management analyst, user access administrator, or identity governance analyst. Technical roles include IAM engineer, identity engineer, SSO engineer, IGA developer, and PAM engineer. With experience, you can progress into IAM consultant, identity security specialist, IAM product owner, identity architect, or head of identity. You can also move into cloud security, zero trust, security architecture, governance, or security leadership. Now let's understand what skills do you need for IAM. You start with the fundamentals. Understand user accounts, groups, roles, and permissions. Learn the difference between authentication and authorization. Understand multi-factor authentication, least privilege, role-based access control, and segregation of duties. You should also understand directories such as Active Directory or Microsoft Entra ID. Then learn what the common protocols actually do. SAML and OpenID Connect support single sign-on. OAuth provides delegated access. SCIM helps provision identities between systems. LDAP and Kerberos also are important in many enterprise environments. So do not memorize everything in one weekend. Start by understanding what problem each protocol solves. Depending upon the employer, you may see Microsoft Entra ID, Okta, Ping Identity, SailPoint or CyberArk. Please do not try to learn every product at once. If you understand identity lifecycle, access control and authentication properly, moving between products becomes easier. But IAM is not only technical. You will work with HR, application owners, auditors and developers. So you must explain risk and document decisions clearly. Let's talk about who can transition into IAM. Now, IAM can be a very good pathway for people coming from service desk, IT support, system administration or application support because they already understand users, accounts and access problem. People in audit, compliance, KYC, AML or risk can move towards governance. Their understanding of approvals, evidence and controls is very useful, although they will need technical knowledge. So do not throw away your previous experience. Ask yourself which part of it connects naturally to identity security. Now, how can a beginner build IAM experience? This is where many people get stuck. They complete a course, add IAM to their CV and wait for an employer to give them experience. Instead, build a small identity project. Create a fictional company with employees across HR, finance, sales and IT. Define what each role should access. Create users and groups in a lab. Apply role-based access and demonstrate what happens when somebody joins, moves and leaves. Add an access review. Show how you would identify an inactive account, excessive permission or segregation of duties conflict. Document it with a simple diagram, screenshot, access rule, risk and recommendation. So talking about certifications and salary. For beginners, IC Square CC or Security Plus can provide a cybersecurity foundation. For the Microsoft Root, SC900 is an introduction and SC300 will go deeper. Later, consider the technology used by your target employees, but do not collect 5 certificates before completing one practical project. As a broad 2026 guide, UK IAM analyst pay commonly sits around £28,000 to £46,000. Now, engineering, consulting and architecture roles can go considerably higher with experience. If you compare it with India, earlier career IAM roles vary widely, often roughly between 4 to 10 lakhs per annum, depending upon the employer's city and technical skills. Now, treat this as market indicators, not a guaranteed offer. Now, what are the common beginners' mistakes? The first mistake is believing IAM is only account administration. The second is learning a product without understanding the identity problem it solves. Third is memorizing protocols without building anything. And fourth is ignoring business processes. A technically good system can still fail if the wrong person approves access or nobody removes old permissions. IAM works only when technology and process work together. Now let's talk about the future of IAM. Organizations are no longer managing only employee usernames. Cloud workloads, APIs, service accounts, bots and AI agents also have identities and permissions. Each can become an attack route if it is poorly managed. Password may become less common, passkeys will grow and more decisions will be automated. But the core questions remains. Who or what is requesting access? What should it be allowed to do? And how do we remove that access when it is no longer required? So my final advice, if you enjoy structured problem solving, working carefully with details and understanding how people, application and security connect, IAM may be a very good pathway for you. You do not need to be an ethical hacker or an expert programmer, but you need curiosity, discipline and confidence to question unnecessary access. Start with the fundamentals, build one small project, document what you have learned, then apply for roles where you can show evidence, not just interest. Drop a comment below and tell me, are you considering IAM as your route into cybersecurity, or are you already working in access management and trying to move into engineering or architecture? Subscribe if you have not already, because I am breaking down every cybersecurity pathway in a practical way so that you can make a better career decision. I'm Hemant and I will see you in the next video.